Caitlin Clark is going to miss the next 2 weeks with a quad strain.
A lot of inflammation can develop around this small tear.
That would be 4 games that she is going to miss at minimum.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks is the right number.
Breaking news has just rocked the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, the face of the Indiana Fever, and a rising star in women's basketball, is officially sidelined. A medical report confirms she's suffering from a quad strain and won't return to the court for at least 2 weeks.
And when a pocket of fluid develops around a small tear, then the thigh muscle in general can just shut down. The 2 weeks is the right time frame.
But it's what the doctors are saying that has fans, analysts, and team officials seriously worried. Could this be more than just a routine injury?
The thigh muscle in general can just shut down. So you have to be very, very conservative with treatment. So this is the right move to shut it down at minimum for 2 weeks, complete rest, and really control the inflammation.
Just weeks ago, Clark missed time with a vague leg issue, and now things seem to be escalating. Her rookie season was supposed to be historic, but with growing concerns and mounting pressure, people are starting to ask, is this the beginning of a long and uncertain recovery?
Obviously, Caitlin's carrying a lot on her shoulders, a big star that is coming to a lot of these buildings. And
stay with us as we break down exactly what happened, what her doctors are revealing, and what this could mean for Caitlin Clark's future and the WNBA itself.
Who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never missed one.
Caitlin Clark's rookie season has just hit its first major roadblock. The Indiana Fever's star guard has officially been diagnosed with a left quadriceps strain, an injury that affects one of the largest and most essential muscle groups in the leg.
Like I mentioned, we have to control the swelling around the tear. Like hamstring tears, the quad tear is usually small, but the muscle around this tear tightens up, which creates a much larger injury field.
According to the team's medical staff, she's expected to be out for at least 2 weeks. That may not sound like a long time, but in the WNBA's short, tightly packed season, it means missing at least 4 key games.
It is a new injury. This is not the injury that she was dealing with during preseason.
For a player whose presence has electrified both fans and ratings, this is a blow not just to the Fever, but to the league as a whole. While the team insists this is a new injury, many aren't so sure.
It has been announced by the Indiana Fever that she will be out for 2 weeks minimum following a quad strain.
Clark had already shown signs of leg discomfort before the season even started. She sat out a preseason game with what was vaguely described as leg tightness, but no further details were offered at the time. Most assumed it was a precautionary move, nothing more than early season stiffness.
Now, that was just a very brief glimpse into what Caitlin Clark is dealing with 44 games a year.
But looking back now, that quiet absence seems more telling. It may have been the first warning sign that her body was already under more strain than it could handle. Still, Clark pushed through.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks.
Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem.
The referees literally turned their back.
They held accountable.
She went on to play high-profile games, including her emotional return to Iowa, drawing record-breaking crowds and dominating headlines.
She was cleared to play, but she reactivated. Which game do I believe it was? The Atlanta Dream game, that Ryan Howard game.
Behind the scenes, though, it now appears she may have been playing through lingering discomfort. And while that's not unusual in elite sports, especially for rookies eager to prove themselves, it comes with a cost.
But there's clearly an issue. Brittany Griner left a sideline interview to go yell at the refs.
Muscle strains, especially in the quadriceps, can escalate quickly if ignored. And that seems to be exactly what's happened. What's even more concerning is that this is her second quad-related issue in just a few months. The first, described as minor, was quietly managed during preseason.
Let me show you an example of why Caitlin Clark fans are claiming that the WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, the WNBA not stepping in to protect their only draw, their only star, could have led to this injury.
But this time, The situation is serious enough for the team to shut her down completely. And yet, just a day after the official diagnosis, Clark was spotted shooting at practice, an act that surprised teammates and raised red flags for team staff.
Well, it looks like a reactivation of the initial injury she had in preseason, which was also minor. So 2 weeks is the right time frame to really shut her down, let it rest, control the potential swelling that can develop in the thigh.
The message from coaches and medical personnel was clear. Recovery comes first. A quad strain involves small muscle tears, and any added pressure could turn a 2-week absence into something far more long-term. That's a risk no one wants to take. Not the Fever, not Clark, and not the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA at large.
Leading up to the season, there had been subtle signs that Clark might be at risk for overuse injuries.
If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA.
The transition from college to pro ball is intense. The pace is faster, the physical demands are higher, and expectations are through the roof.
The Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
Combine that with the enormous media spotlight she's been under, and it's no surprise that she may have been pushing her body too far. When she first appeared on the injury report as questionable due to a left leg issue, it sent a ripple through the league. And now that injury has evolved into something more serious, it's raising questions about whether she should have been given more rest from the start.
Here's the thing. Most refs aren't going to blow the whistle in that situation. And I understand the frustration that I think comes the most with officiating is the inconsistencies of officiating.
But what's most striking about this moment is how much weight her absence carries. Clark isn't just any player. She's become the face of the league, a marketing machine, and a beacon of hope for what women's basketball can be.
This is a WNBA problem, and as more and more eyeballs are watching this league, it becomes growingly an issue. The officiating feels like you never have a true grasp on what it's going to be.
Her arrival brought unprecedented viewership, packed arenas, and a renewed buzz around the WNBA. Now, with her sidelined, there's real concern that the momentum could stall.
Everything that she does, where the Fever look like they're on even footing with the Liberty, even with Caitlin Clark limited, and then they fall to the Sun and the Mystics without her.
The Fever were counting on this stretch of games, matchups against Washington, Connecticut, Chicago, and Atlanta, to build rhythm and gain traction in the standings.
Nobody will be able to celebrate that they're look at them go without Caitlin Clark, which is something that some folks out there wanted to do.
Without Clark, that path just got a lot tougher. This isn't just a tough break for Indiana. It's a moment of reckoning for the league.
Set around that tear. So she's looking at missing 4 games, and she's already itching to get back.
The WNBA placed enormous weight on Caitlin Clark's shoulders, perhaps too much, too soon. And now, with her health in question, the pressure is shifting. How the team handles her recovery will matter. How the league responds to her absence will matter.
What the hell was that? The Connecticut Sun did everything they could to lose that game, and the Fever still couldn't win.
The Indiana Fever just lost to the Connecticut Sun.
Because for the first time since she entered the league, we're seeing what happens when Caitlin Clark can't play, and everyone is holding their breath. Caitlin Clark's quad strain may sound like a manageable setback, but experts are warning that it's far more delicate than it appears. She's officially out for 2 weeks, which in WNBA terms means missing 4 high-impact games, an absence that can swing a season.
Set around that tear. So she's looking at missing 4 games, and she's already itching to get back.
While the Fever have called this a new injury, it's hard to ignore the red flags that were already waving during the preseason. Back then, Clark sat out a game with what was vaguely described as leg tightness, a term that's often used to downplay something more serious.
Right, she's itching to get back. This is a young lady who hasn't missed a game in 8 years, going back to her high school career. So she's not used to being in this position where she has to watch her teammates play while she's on the sidelines, on the bench. Now, based on all your expertise and quad injuries that you've witnessed over the years, what is the timeline for her to recover from this injury?
Well, it looks like a reactivation of the initial injury she had in preseason, which was also minor. So 2 weeks is the right time frame to really shut her down, let it rest, control the potential swelling that can develop in the thigh.
Now we're seeing the full picture, and it's raising urgent questions about how close she really was to breaking down. Injuries like this aren't just about pain, they're about risk. According to CBS sports injury analyst Marty Jaramillo, even a mild quad strain can snowball into something much worse. What might start as a minor tear can trigger widespread inflammation, limiting blood flow and weakening the surrounding muscles.
You do have to wonder if this is something that has been nagging her. Stephanie White said it was a new injury. There was some question.
She had a minor quad strain in the preseason that was well managed. Now, here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
And if that inflammation spreads too far, the entire muscle group could shut down. The remedy? Not pushing through. Rest, ice, targeted rehab, anything less, and recovery gets longer, not shorter.
She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated. And here's the problem with a quad strain. A lot of inflammation can develop around this small tear. 2 weeks is the right number. Now, here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
Jaramillo emphasized that the 2-week break isn't just a precaution. It's a non-negotiable if the Fever want their franchise player to return without long-term consequences. But here's where things get more controversial, because not everyone believes this injury was just bad luck. Many fans and analysts are pointing to the punishing physicality Clark has endured since day one.
This increased physicality that Caitlin Clark has been dealing with, it's been going on for over a year now. Why in the hell has Kathy Engelbert not stepped in and done something about it? Over the weekend, Felines head coach Stephanie White, she was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being respected. And this is the end result.
From her very first WNBA minutes, it was clear. Opponents weren't just defending her, they were targeting her. The body checks, the elbows, the bumps on drives. Clark has taken more contact in a few games than some veterans see in a month. And while some chalk it up to rookie initiation, others are calling it what it is: negligence.
As the Indiana Fever put out the report, the status update for the first preseason game against the Washington Mystics, and Caitlin Clark, the only player on it, listed as questionable with a left leg injury.
The league has not done enough to protect its most marketable player, and now her body is paying the price. Her absence isn't just a loss for the Fever, it's a hit to the entire WNBA economy. Clark has been a one-woman stimulus package, injecting life into cities and arenas wherever she goes.
The team battled back, down 15, and Stephanie White loses the game. We're down 3, 84-81. We have an opportunity to tie the game, and what do? We go for it too. Stephanie White, in her wisdom, calls a play for Kelsey Mitchell, who hasn't been doing anything all game.
When she plays, ticket sales soar, hotels fill up, local businesses get a boost, jerseys fly off shelves. But now, with Clark sidelined, many of those arenas are already bracing for no-shows. Empty seats, flat concession sales, less energy, less everything. For a league trying to ride a wave of momentum, this couldn't come at a worse time.
If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
And make no mistake, this 2-week window was supposed to be a turning point for the Fever. They had games lined up against Washington, Connecticut, Chicago, and Atlanta, a chance to climb the standings and build cohesion. Without Clark, that path gets rocky. The pressure now shifts to players like Kelsey Mitchell, who's shown flashes but needs to be more consistent, and Sophie Cunningham, whose recent return from injury couldn't be more timely. The Fever have depth, but without their star guard leading the charge, every game becomes a grind.
She just brings so much passion to the game, and look at all these people that just want to come and see her.
Caitlin Clark's quad injury isn't just a personal setback. It's a ripple that's shaking the entire WNBA. For the Fever, it's a brutal reality check. For fans, it's a reminder that even the most durable stars aren't invincible.
The Indiana Fever just lost to the Connecticut Sun.
The Indiana Fever is in a world of trouble right now.
What the hell was that? The Connecticut Sun did everything they could to lose that game, and the Fever still couldn't win.
The Fever stink without Caitlin Clark. It is rough. It has been a rough stretch. I thought that Indiana would split.
Whether this turns out to be a minor pause or the first sign of a bigger battle, only time and recovery will tell. What's certain is that the league feels different without Clark on the court. The energy she brought, gone. The momentum she sparked, hanging by a thread. And this couldn't have happened at a worse time. Clark is expected to miss at least 4 critical games against the Mystics, the Sun, the Sky.
You do have to wonder if this is something that has been nagging her. Stephanie White said it was a new injury. There was some question.
She had a minor quad strain in the preseason that was well managed. Now, here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
This increased physicality that Caitlin Clark has been dealing with, it's been going on for over a year now. Why in the hell has Kathy Engelbert not stepped in and done something about it? Over the weekend, Felines head coach Stephanie White, she was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being respected. And this is the end result.
Games that were supposed to build rhythm and confidence for a young Fever squad still finding its identity. This is also unfamiliar territory for Clark herself. In 8 years of competitive basketball, she hasn't missed a single game. Now, for the first time, she has to watch from the sidelines. But some say that might be a hidden blessing. Learning how to manage her body, take recovery seriously, and pace herself for a long WNBA career could be the most important lesson of all.
She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated. And here's the problem with a quad strain. A lot of inflammation can develop around this small tear.
Ryan Howard was all over Caitlin Clark. Elbows, shoulders, pushing on her, applying pressure to that leg, which led up to this injury.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks is the right number.
Big injury news in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is going to miss the next 2 weeks with a quad strain. That would be 4 games that she is going to miss at minimum.
The Fever know what's at stake. They're playing it safe, not just because they want her back quickly, but because they know what happens if they miscalculate. Lose her for a few games now, or lose her for a season later. The choice is obvious, but the implications go far beyond Indiana. With CBA negotiations looming and the league fighting for better salaries, sponsorships, and TV deals, Clark's absence could weaken the argument that the WNBA is entering a new golden era. Her presence was proof that the league could move the needle. Now her absence is showing just how fragile that progress really is. Already the numbers are sliding. TV projections are down. What was once 2.7 million viewers is now forecasted to barely clear 1.2. Ticket resale prices have nosedived. Seats that were once being snapped up are suddenly flooding back onto the market. Even casual fans are checking out.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. I'm so happy. I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Clark's star power was keeping the spotlight on the league. Now it's dimming, fast, and it's not like she wasn't delivering. Before the injury, Clark was averaging 19 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds per game. Insane production for a rookie logging over 35 minutes per night. She wasn't just playing, she was lifting entire arenas, electrifying cities, and giving the WNBA something it hadn't seen in a while: hope, hype, and headlines. Her sidelining puts that all in jeopardy.
She just brings so much passion to the game, and look at all these people that just want to come and see her.
It is no secret that the Indiana Fever are the most popular team in the WNBA. It is good for the entire WNBA.
It also raises serious questions about scheduling and player management. Why was she playing back-to-back games in the preseason? Why wasn't her early leg discomfort treated more seriously? Kelsey Mitchell's recent comments hit hard. Rest and recovery can't be optional, especially for someone carrying a franchise and league expectations on their back. Clark's passion to compete through everything is inspiring, but even the toughest players need to know when to sit, not just for now, but for the career they want 10 years from now. Caitlin Clark's injury is more than just a pause. It's a turning point for the Fever in the league. Whether she's out for weeks or longer, one thing's certain, the WNBA feels different without her. If you're hoping for a strong comeback and still rocking with Caitlin 100%, hit that like button, drop a 100% in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss a single update. We've got you covered every step of the way.